So the first thing I need is 1 yellow onion that I'm just gonna dice up. Now, when you're making chili, you can kind of cut your vegetables however you want. If you like it a little bit chunkier, obviously feel free to dice it a little bit bigger. If you like things a little bit finer and smaller, dice them a little bit smaller. This is kind of like a choose your own adventure in terms of sizing there. I'm gonna go for a bigger little chunk because that's what my mom likes. Always a good thing. I can always tell, pretty much once a week my mom will make chili. And I smell that beautiful aroma coming up. It's always a good thing. She makes enough to feed approximately 800 people, which is always a good thing. She loves a leftover, so we're feeling good about it. All right, I've got that onion diced up. And now for a little bit of an herbaceous kind of flavor, I'm gonna use 2 stalks of celery. Now you don't really think of celery as being an herb, but it kind of is. It's a vegetable kind of at its base. The root is really delicious and starchy if you wanna do that. And then the leaves are a little bit herby, but I find if you slice that celery nice and fine, you get that herby quality. Really nice and bright and fresh. So I'm just slicing this nice. Again, you can dice it finer if you're feeling it. But 2 stalks of celery are good. And since I'm doing a green chili, I'm kind of sticking to the green and white vegetables that I have in my crisper. If you wanted to, you could also put up in a green bell pepper or something spicy, that'd be good too. But I've got my pot over here over about medium heat, and I'm going in with about a tablespoon of oil. You could also do this with butter, you could do it with whatever you're feeling, but I'm feeling olive oil today. So I'm gonna go in with those veg. Now, if you do not have a bench scraper, it makes very easy work of getting that veg right into your pot. So just get that right on in. And then as soon as that starts to hit the heat, I'm gonna season that up with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, just to get things going. The salt kind of helps the vegetables cook down a little bit by removing some of the moisture, helping them get caramelized quicker. And to be honest, this smell right now, dinner's off to a good start. I'm feeling it. All right, give that a good stir. Now, I just want that to cook down over that about medium heat for maybe 4 to 6 minutes, just until there's a little bit of color and they're getting a little soft. So while that does its thing, let's chat our other kind of aromatics we're gonna add in. So the first thing I need is 3 cloves of garlic. Now I'm gonna mince these. Typically, if I was doing this at home, I would just mince them over the pot, but I'm gonna get them prepped now. I am chopping garlic, which I think I've only done like 3 times on this show. I hate chopping garlic. It's my least favorite thing in the world. But if you give it a good smash, it kind of does half the chopping for you. So just dice that up nice and fine. Garlic is kind of funny. The finer you chop it or mince it, the stronger the flavor is gonna be. It's gonna be a little punchier and spicier. So if you keep it a little bit chunky, as it cooks down in that chili, it stays nice and sweet. So kind of do whatever you're feeling. If you want like a real garlic punch, keep it a little bit chunky, but this is what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna transfer this garlic right on into a little bowl, just to make transferring easier for me. And then we're gonna chat our spices. Now, I have a really well-stocked spice pantry because I can't say no to buying a delicious little spice. I usually get mine at a bulk store though, because then I know they are fresh. I'm not buying that tub that's this big, but it's too good a deal, so you gotta buy it. I'm just buying what I need, or maybe a little bit more at a time, which makes sure everything stays nice and fresh. Now, if you have your spices, maybe your chili powder's been in there for 18 years, it's gonna be fine. To be honest, it's just gonna be a little dusty, so you might wanna use extra of that, but we're gonna toast it to make it taste nice and fresh. Since we're making chili, we do need 1.5 teaspoons of that chili powder. Then for a little bit of kind of extra smokiness and a little bit of a lemony flavor, I'm going in with 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. I love cumin. Really, really good, super delish. So 1.5 teaspoons of that. And then finally, for an herb, we're going in with some dry oregano. Now, if you have Mexican oregano, that would work really beautifully, but Greek oregano works as well. Oregano's nice, it's got a little bit of a lemony flavor. So 1 teaspoon of that goes in. All right, perfect. Now let's go check on these veg. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of color, starting to build on the bottom of the pot too. So I'm gonna go in with all those aromatics and spices. Now this is the thing, if your spices are a little bit old, you don't remember the last time you bought them, give them a bit of a toast. That's gonna bring them back to life, ignite those oils, and get everything tasting beautiful. So that's looking great. I'm just gonna nudge the vegetables over. And I'm gonna add a little bit more oil into here because we're gonna add in our protein. So for this, we're going in with ground chicken. If you wanted to, you could do ground turkey. You could even just get a brick of extra firm tofu, crumble that up, pop that in. Beautiful and delicious. But I'm gonna go in with that chicken, pop that right on in. And I want that to sit on the bottom of the pan. The reason that I nudge those vegetables over is that's gonna give that good contact so it's not gonna steam. We're gonna get that little bit of golden brown on there, absolutely beautiful. So while that starts doing its thing, let's chat the beans and the corn that is going into this chili. So since this is a green chili, I didn't want to use a red bean or a black bean. I went just with a white kidney bean, but chickpeas would be great, navy beans, any sort of light color would be great. 1 can drained and rinsed, and you are good to go. And then we're gonna chat this stuff right here. This is hominy. Now, if you can't find hominy, it's a canned corn. We'll talk about it in a sec. You could totally just use frozen corn. 3 cups of that would work perfectly. But hominy is really interesting. It's actually field corn. So this is the corn that's used to make corn tortillas. It's used to for like animal feed and things like that. If you try to eat that off the cob, your teeth are coming out. It's very hard. It's not gonna work. But what this is treated with is an alkali solution. So it's called nixtamalization. It makes it so the outer fibers of that corn get nice and broken down. It's kind of starchy, a little bit fluffy. It almost tastes like popcorn. Really, really tasty. Again, if you can't find it, that's totally fine. Just use frozen, but I do love this stuff. So I'm gonna go into here. I'd be cooking this chicken for, I would say, about, I'd say 6 minutes, just until it's cooked all the way through and golden. But we're just gonna add in now. So going in with my beans, going in with that hominy. It's beautiful, it's really starchy, super tasty. I'm just gonna give everything a good mix. Now typically I would brown that chicken a bit more so it's kind of crumbled, but this will continue to cook once I add in the liquids. So give that a nice stir together. Okay, and now we are going to talk my store-bought shortcut. So far, you're like, Mary, you have done no store-bought shortcuts. You have lied to me today. I have not lied to you. My favorite thing anytime I am making like a soup that I want a little bit of a Tex-Mex vibe or a chili is I just get a jar of salsa. Someone else put a bunch of spices, a bunch of tomatoes, there's onion, there's garlic, super, super tasty. Since we're doing a green chili, we're also using a salsa verde. But if you wanted to make this a red chili, swap out those beans with a different bean, the beef or the chicken for beef, and you could use a red jar of salsa, but something with like a tomatillo in it. It's got a really nice flavor. Not super acidic, really, really tasty. So I'm gonna go in with that full jar of salsa. And then to get things moving a little bit, I'm going in with a cup-ish of chicken broth. Now, store-bought is perfect. I'm also a really big fan of bouillon. So if you have bouillon, add in a teaspoon and then just add in some water, boom, instant chicken stock, the dream. So just add in about a cup. That's gonna start going. That chicken's gonna keep cooking. It's gonna get absolutely beautiful. We're just using like store-bought cornbread muffin mix. I'm not mad about it, I'm not gonna lie. Now, cornbread is something that I can pretty much always make. I always have cornmeal on hand. I always have all-purpose flour, baking powder. Sometimes if you don't have enough butter or milk or something like that, I just use some mayonnaise in there, toss it in, and it honestly works really beautifully. Super, super nice. Actually, on MasterChef Canada, I think there was like the first team challenge. We had to feed like 150 firefighters, and I made cornbread for all of them. Mayonnaise was the savior. Always good. All right, but I'm gonna get to work on this. Basically, do whatever the box tells you to. I've got my mix in here. There's got that beautiful cornmeal in it. I love the texture of cornbread. But into there, I'm going in with 2.5 cups of milk. Sorry, is that right? This is correctly measured, so I'm gonna measure it now and tell myself how much I need. 1.5 cups of milk, I lied. Okay, cool. Again, follow the instructions on the bag and you'll be good to go. Now into there as well, you could also swap that out if you wanna pretend you made homemade, put buttermilk in it. Ooh, that'd be delicious. But I'm gonna go in also with 1/2 cup of butter, always good with corn. And then I'm gonna go in with 2 eggs. Now, I find there is nothing wrong with taking a store-bought shortcut, oopsie. Don't put the eggshell in there, Mary. We're live on TV. We don't want crunchy muffins. That's not what we want. All right, give that a good little whisk. I honestly find there's nothing wrong with using a store-bought shortcut at home. I think sometimes people feel maybe a little bad about it. They feel like they should make everything from scratch. But my cousin Lindsay always says, if you made the money that bought it, you can say you made it. So there you go. So listen to Lindsay on a Monday, for sure. All right. Give that a good whisk together, looking absolutely beautiful. And then to jazz this up, toss in whatever you'd like. I've got some diced jalapenos here to give it a little bit of heat. As those cook down, they do tend to mellow out a little bit, so put in as much or as little as you'd like. And then obviously I can't say no to some cheese. I'm just gonna go in with some grated cheddar. Just add that right on in. Give that a stir, but a little green onion in here would be beautiful. If you wanted to go kind of more on the like wintry side, a little diced rosemary would be beautiful as well. Just whatever you're feeling, or anything you need to use up in your drawer. And then I like to use an ice cream scoop to dish up any sort of muffin or cupcake I am doing. So I'm just going to use that, Pop that into a lined muffin tin. You could obviously also do this in some sort of a loaf pan if you're feeling it, or a cast iron skillet for that extra crispy side. But just scoop that into your muffin tin. I'm gonna say you got the idea, so I'm just gonna go put these in the oven. Pop those in the oven, bake them however long that bag tells you to do it. You can even put some extra cheese on top of there. That would be a dream. We luckily have some already doing their thing. Looking stunning. Oh, you smell that jalapeno. Really tasty. Now, if you want to be extra fancy, serve this up with some butter, but as soon as they come out of the oven, just rub a little bit of butter on top while they're still warm. Gives you a little bit of a glisten. Super, super tasty. You can melt the butter and daub it over. The cornbread smells great. That chili smells even better. So let's go take a look at that. So I've got it over here doing its thing, and it is simmering away. It is looking absolutely beautiful. It is super, super flavorful. We've got that wonderful celery, that hominy in there. Just serve that up in a big bowl. If you want this extra spicy, put some more jalapenos in there. Then we're just gonna come over here. I can't say no to a little bit of topping on my chili. I kind of treat it like nachos. So I'm going on with some sour cream, just a nice big dollop right in the center. A little bit of some feta cheese or queso fresca. A little bit of cilantro on there, just torn right over top. And then this is a must for me. A squidge of some lime juice is gonna make everything absolutely beautiful. Brightens everything. Even if it's been simmering away on the stove while you've been chatting with your neighbor, it's gonna be a total dream. All right, I'm gonna give it a taste. Now, if you can't find hominy, again, just regular corn would be beautiful. This, to me, is a Monday night winner. Okay. Oh, it's hot. Oh, very good. Now, studio audience, if you want to batch up this chili, we've got you covered. Thanks to Crate and Barrel, you're all going home with these freezer-friendly super cubes. Enjoy.
Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.